So I just quit my job, sold everything I owned, and moved to Thailand on a one-way ticket. Let's talk about it. My name is Kaan, and I'm currently in Ko Samui, Thailand since 1 week back. I work remotely in Thailand, and my goal is to show you how you can do the same.
So this is my first ever YouTube video, and I forgot to film this part. So you just have to look at my goofy ass while I explain to you that as I just started this journey, you will also encounter my mistakes and struggles, as well as my happy moments. So we can all look back later and be like, why did he do that? But before we get into Thailand, let's rewind. Sweden, the land of ABBA, IKEA, and eternal darkness.
Now, Sweden is a brilliant country. It is safe, it is stable, and it's beautiful. But for me, it felt like a slow death. Now, I acknowledge that I'm very lucky to be Swedish, but I wouldn't ever want to live in Sweden. What I'm about to say is going to be very harsh on Sweden, but it is my experience, and yeah, it is what it is. When I was 18 years old and I finished high school, I moved as far away from Sweden as possible to the other side of the world, Australia. I moved on my own, and the reason for my move was studies. Now, remember kids, it is always important to have a purpose when you're moving. And my purpose was in the beginning studies. And if you're moving just for moving, I mean, if you're financially stable, why not? But I sure as hell am not. So I started my business studies in Sydney and lived there for about 2.5 years. Then I did an exchange semester in Poland for another year, and then ended up in Austria for about 4.5 years to finish my studies. Oh, and by the way, a massive shout out to Austria. What a beautiful country. I mean, look at this. No, this. Or this. So I returned to Sweden in 2023 after living abroad for 8 years to mainly work on my resume, but also to get a feeling of my own home country again. Well, I instantly regretted it, and for 2 years while I was living there, I looked for a way out. And I was searching for a new country to live in. So what's the problem with Sweden, you may ask? Well, my main difficulty with Sweden is that for the majority of the year, it is just so dark. The lack of sun hits hard. You go to work, it's dark. You finish work, it's dark. So you don't really have any energy to do something. So a lot of people just stay at home in front of the TV and just have comfortable lives that way. But that's not the way I want to live. Now, this brings me to my second biggest struggle that I have in Sweden. The social contact that you don't really get from people. Now, I come from a small community in Sweden called Rättvik, which is a part of Dalarna County. Now, fun fact, Dalarna, for all of you who are cultured, is the home of the Dalahäst, which is the national horse of Sweden. I swear, this shit is bigger than IKEA, and if you've never seen it before, if you don't know about it, please drop a comment down below so we can all mock you. Now, when I moved back to Sweden in 2023, I moved to Gothenburg, which is the second biggest city in Sweden. And I felt like a proper immigrant. It was so difficult to get social contact with Swedes, and bear in mind, I'm a Swedish guy, but I could not relate to them at all. So I spent a year in Sweden after 8 years abroad, and by this time I had 2 new Swedish friends, and the rest? Foreigners. So the moral of the story here that is Sweden is a very hard place to find friends. Go for the foreigners. You know, when I walk on the streets and I pass by a stranger, I like to look at them in the eyes and give them a smile, because honestly, that can make someone's day. I mean, I know it would make my day. Now, picture this scenario. You look at a stranger, you smile, they look down, they panic, they start to walk away, and you think to yourself, shit, did I just commit a crime? No, welcome to Sweden. In Sweden, eye contact is social suicide. In Thailand, however, a stranger will likely chat with you like you're a long-time friend, and prepare to get a lot of smiles in Thailand. I feel like a lot of people in Sweden are not happy. People are always complaining and looking forward to better times. You always need to get a better car, or if your neighbor gets a snowmobile, shit, you need to get one too. People are not living in the now. A lot of times it feels very materialistic and shallow, and this is not only a Swedish problem, maybe you can relate to this too, wherever you're located. When I told people back home in Sweden that I would be moving to Thailand, a lot of people looked at me with envy and told me that I was so lucky that I could do this, or that I was crazy. And you know, I couldn't understand any of this. Luck? Maybe, yeah, a little bit. But let's be real, it wasn't luck that made me sell everything and book a one-way ticket. It was a choice. And if I can do it, so can you. Just know where you want to go and put your heart into it. I couldn't stop thinking about Thailand for months on end while in Sweden, and I researched and I planned it every single day. And honestly, as cliche as it sounds, follow your heart. You know, I would rather fail 1,000 times than to sit there later at 80 years old and think to myself, what if? So don't be that person, take the fucking step. I went to Thailand the first time in September last year, so 6 months ago.
When I stepped off the plane in Bangkok, boom! The heat punched me in the face. The smell of street food, the buzz of the tuk-tuks, the sound of life, and shit, I just knew I was home.
So as soon as I went back to Sweden, I quit my job. So I started a new job in January this year that allowed me to work remotely, and I started to plan my move. So I sold everything I owned, I got rid of my rental apartment, I settled a long-term visa for Thailand, and on the 6th of March, I flew from Copenhagen airport to Bangkok on a one-way ticket, and let me tell you, that felt amazing. And now, as a side note, I'm not rich by all means. I had a saving of maybe 150,000 crowns. And my point is, you don't need to have a massive amount of cash laying around to do this. You just need a drive and a purpose.
Alright guys, so I'm going to be experimenting a lot with video technique right now, as this is my first ever video. So I would appreciate all the feedback that I can get. I also want you all to drop a comment down below. What's your dream destination that you want to live in? And maybe I'll see you there. So in the next video, I'm going to talk a bit more about Samui, the island life, and also the upcoming plans. So if you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to stay tuned with the flow. Now, I want to end this video by giving a massive shout out to my mom, who's my first subscriber to the channel, and also to my boy Isaac, who is here with me and inspiring me to make the video. So thank you guys. Peace.